counting calories, eating less than you burn, how do you actually enjoy life and lose weight? What is the most important thing in creating a calorie deficit? In this video, we will cover exactly what a calorie deficit is and how you can create one successfully through minor adjustments. If you are like me, you probably see information on losing weight and calorie deficits everywhere. So, how much of a calorie deficit is actually helpful, and what are the best ways to get there? By watching this entire video, I will show you 15 tips to get you losing unwanted fat. The third one is something that was hard for me as it was a regular part of my diet. There will also be some bonus ideas at the end to supercharge your calorie deficit. I think you will find there are some things destroying your weight loss that you might not even be aware of. To start with a baseline definition, calories are the units of energy you get from what you eat and drink. In the simplest terms possible, a calorie deficit is when you burn more calories than you eat. This can be done in different ways, from structured exercise to eating a couple hundred less calories, all the way to more overall movement, such as making regular walks a part of your day. What do you think has had the biggest impact on your calorie deficit? What's stopping you from creating one? Leave comments below. We all get better as we hear from each other. Reducing your food to cut calories can be tough. While it sounds simple, sometimes it can feel impossible to cut any more, especially if you're already trying. However, to lose weight, little things add up. Here are my top 15 tips to cut your calories with mistakes you might not even know you're doing. The first thing you can do is control your environment you eat in, as this can have a big impact on how much you eat. From my own experience, I would encourage you to eat when not distracted. If you're distracted, you're much more likely to overeat. For example, if you're watching a sports game and focus on the screen, it can be easy to keep grabbing handfuls of chips and dips before you even realize how much you've had. One recent study showed distracted eaters ate up to 30% more than those who were undistracted. Whether you're on the computer, watching a game, or reading a book, be mindful to not mindlessly eat or have junk food nearby. Next, keep it simple and cook your own food. Not only does this help to optimize the flavor and portions you want, but when someone else cooks it, you don't know exactly what's in it. Some meals can appear to be healthy or low calorie. However, they can have hidden sugars or added fats based on what they are cooked in or what dressing is added. This will help you remain in control of the amount of calories you're getting. Another thing you can do is use less sauce. While this seems simple, a little dip here or there can add up and mess up your calorie deficit big time. 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise adds 57 calories and ketchup is 19. But let's be real, who has just 1 tablespoon of ketchup? If you're used to a lot of sauce, have a little less. If you have the option to get a condiment on the side, I would always recommend it, especially when going with fast food options. Fourth, drinking water before meals will help you feel more full. Therefore, you will eat less during meals. This will help you to lower your calories. One study showed up to 44% greater weight loss over 12 weeks when comparing those who drank water before meals compared to those who didn't. If you drink more water, you could eat a little less every meal and therefore less over the course of the day. Sticking with liquids, don't drink your calories. This can be a forgotten source of additional extra calories. It can be easy to drink when on the go, and you can forget that these are not free calories, especially if you pick the wrong sugar-stacked beverage. Avoid sugary fruit juices and sodas. These calories and sugar can destroy your goals with just one 12-ounce can. Sixth, make it easier for yourself and keep junk food out of your house. If you have less processed food, sweets, and overall processed boxes to pick from, you will simply eat less by having less available. If it's within easy reach, it's much easier to eat. For me, this can be true as I tend to eat more when I'm either stressed or bored. If work is crazy, you can reach for foods to help you de-stress, or at least me personally. Or if you're just decompressing from a long day, it's always easiest to get something from the pantry that you don't have to put a lot of effort in to cook. We all have urges for unhealthy foods. Just limit choices in the house and your calorie deficit will be better off. Next, try using smaller plates. The plates we eat on seem to get bigger and bigger. If you've had to guess, what would you think the average dinner plate is in relation to what it used to be? 10%, 20%? What percent over previous years? It turns out they're almost 50% bigger on average than they used to be as recently as the 1980s. Numerous studies link larger plates to larger portions of food. When there is more food on your plate, it makes them more likely to overeat. Although this sounds obvious, it's good to cover. Choosing a smaller plate is one small trick to keep what you eat and portion sizes more on track. 8th, have you ever ordered a salad when eating out thinking that you're being smart and going with a low calorie option, only to look up the calories and realize you would have saved more by eating a burger? Even though salads can seem like a healthy option, they can be deceptively high in calories. This is especially true when the salad is already doused in high-calorie dressing, let alone cheese and croutons. If you want to enjoy your salad and have some delicious dressing, just order it on the side so you can control how much you use. Most of us feel like we have to eat everything in front of us, especially when someone places a big plate down. My advice, don't feel you have to clean your plate. Don't eat all the food if you aren't hungry. There is nothing wrong with leftovers. I encourage you to eat slowly and mindfully and stop when you feel full, even if a good amount of food is left over. If you eat paying attention to how you feel, you will stop when you're full and not when the plate is cleared. 10th, I always say this, but I truly cannot emphasize enough to eat protein at every meal. Protein is an effective way to maintain and lose weight. This is because it's filling. If you eat more protein, you will eat less other fillers. If you feel full from the amino acid proteins provide, then you'll be less likely to overeat on potatoes, rolls, and other treats that taste good but add less nutritional value. I would always recommend a high quality protein the size of your fist with every meal and eating it first. This will create a good environment to maintain a calorie deficit while you try to shed weight. Another way to help your calorie deficit is to make a healthy swap with a meal of your choice you usually eat. For example, if you're craving a juicy burger, you can still have the meat, just take the bun off. This can save you a couple hundred calories and you could still wrap it in lettuce. Even if the restaurant doesn't have the option, you could shave down the calories by just having an open-ended bun or taking them off on your own. You can swap fries for veggies. Little things like this will add up and get you a little bit of additional micronutrients if you add in some greens. 12th, if you're in the mood for anything Italian, such as pasta or lasagna, you can get your fill switching from a creamier sauce to a tomato base instead. Not only are the creamy sauces typically higher in calories, but they also tend to be less likely to have veggies. If you have the choice or are making food at home, opt for a tomato base to take out some calories and chop up some fresh veggies of your own as well. Another thing that is important as part of your calorie deficit is learning how to read food labels. This will help you really know what is in your food. Importantly, never go with the marketing placed on the front, but instead the actual ingredient list on the back. Many convenient foods and snacks, especially processed ones, have more added fats and sugars than you would guess. Always check for saturated fats and sodium, for example. Don't forget to check serving size and number of calories. Sometimes you think you're eating less until you realize a serving was a bite and you've had 7 servings. The 14th tip is for my meat eaters. If you eat a lot of meat as your main protein source, cut out eating the skin. The skin can add extra calories to your meal, and in my opinion is not worth the extra cost to your goals. For example, skinless roasted chicken breast will be on average about 140 calories for a serving, while adding the skin will bump it up near 200. Skip the extra and still get your high protein meat source in. We now have made it to the 15th and definitely not least tip. We all have our favorite meals and food is delicious. It can be easy to go back for seconds or, dare I say, thirds. You may be tempted to go back for more, but this will not help you for your calorie deficit. When you get a second serving, it can be difficult to gauge how much of it you're having. It might be slightly less than you've had initially, but it's giving you another opportunity to overeat. If anything, grab a little bit more your first helping and don't bother going back for seconds. You'll probably thank me 30 minutes later when you don't feel bloated and curse yourself again asking why you did it. Since you've watched to the entire video to this point, I would like to tell you how many calories I would recommend cutting a day, as well as one final tip to improve your calorie deficit. I would recommend trying to cut 250 to 500 calories a day from what you currently eat if you're trying to lose weight and maintain a calorie deficit. This is what most would consider a moderate calorie deficit and should yield half to 1 pound per week lost. 1 pound is equal to 3,500 calories for reference. I've included a link below in the description to a calorie calculator with the NIH. This will help you calculate your baseline calories and adjust based on your goal. By implementing the tips in this video, you can easily cut out a couple hundred calories even if all don't apply to you. It only takes 1 or 2. This moderate approach will help you feel less hungry, less lethargic, and allow you to lose less muscle compared to more extreme cuts. Now, to really help your body work efficiently, I cannot say enough times to prioritize and get enough sleep. I've seen multiple studies linking obesity and weight loss issues to lack of sleep. Quite frankly, people who don't sleep well, way more. Short sleep durations lead to decreased leptin and increase in the ghrelin hormone. Increase in ghrelin is what makes us more hungry and can lead to weight gain. Therefore, our appetite and desire to eat can increase if we sleep less. In our modern society, where sleep deprivation can be common with busy schedules and food widely available, this contributes to obesity. If you're trying to manage a calorie deficit, get a good night's sleep. We have another couple videos on sleep on our channel. Feel free to check them out for more in-depth coverage on this topic. Now, if you implement 1, 5, or even 10 of these ideas, you will be able to create a calorie deficit. This will enable you to lose weight gradually by making simple and effective changes to keep the weight off long term. This, paired with a solid workout plan, will help you achieve your fitness goals. Leave some ideas in the comments that you have seen help. Check out our other video with helpful fitness and health tips that you can implement right away. Please consider giving a small calorie deficit loving thumbs up and subscribe to keep the fitness content coming. As always, we appreciate your watching and encourage you to stay tuned for more.